Okay, welcome. I'm going to start maybe another couple of videos, a little series where I want to start practicing some battalion level operations here in Armored Brigade 2. So I've set up a scenario, a single mission that I've generated where an infantry motorized battalion will have to conduct an approach march all the way up to a single objective, all the way over there, 15 kilometers away. I've set this up in order to practice a few different things, right? I want to understand the operational framework of doing such operations and movements. I'd like to especially practice that approach march to get to a possible probable line of deployment, go through the steps of the attack, set the conditions, maybe do a recon if I can, get into positions of advantage and conduct an attack using multi companies in the entire battalion. I've tried to set this up to be as close to a full battalion as I can. And here we go. So as you can kind of see here, and I've got what I've labeled here is Alpha Company, Bravo Company. Where's that? There you go. No, I don't know where the headquarters is. There you go. Pico. This company right here will serve as the forward support company with their maintenance platoon, field feeding platoon, and distro platoon, some elements of Delta Company. The scout platoon. And the interesting thing about a good game here is the way they've got their intos from back then. It's not necessarily exactly how today is, and that's just fine. These separate platoons will represent like the medical platoon, the main CP, DECO headquarters company CP, but here's the battalion TAC that will go and do their good tactical CP things. Some more Delta Company elements. There's not truly assault platoons in the MTOs here for Armored Brigade 2. I'm still working on learning how to build the databases where you have a couple tow trucks and a couple machine gun or automatic grenade launcher trucks. And then Charlie Company. Finally, I've got the mortar firing position for the mortar platoon right there. Now, as we go through this and as I'm practicing, I want to make sure I don't get as few training scars as possible. So I need to identify those parts of the operational environment I'm not really going to be representing, such as, I don't have a full headquarters company. The FSC is represented, but it's not exactly the way it's supposed to be, right? But don't actually have recovery vehicles, so I can't practice that. The enemy out there is reduced. I did allow them to dig in. I unfortunately did not shape or choose their task organization. So if they bring a bunch of aircraft, I might be screwed. We shall see. Normally, there are not enough trucks for an entire battalion to move all at once. Or if there is, that means like the entire um, troop transport for like the brigade or division is only moving this battalion. No other battalions or brigades are getting truck assets in normal dismounted line infantry. So I have to kind of understand that there might be a next difficulty level I might need to practice one day is where I only have a select few number of troop transports and we'll have to rotate those ground assault convoys. And then, yeah, lastly, no engineers for breaching. So if they have a bunch of wire and stuff and I need to breach, I might have to bypass it because I do not have that. All right. As I've initially done my mission analysis for this, I did identify and come up with a base operational framework here to cover with everybody. You can kind of see we've got the initial positions here labeled for the team, and then moving this way, let's take a look at this operational framework a little bit. I've got the line of departure, some phase lines at good terrain identifiable features, and then a possible probable line of deployment based off some enemy analysis with more phase lines to help control the movement during the attack. There's some avenues of approach, and then the yellow ones are the main supply routes. Some green are some auxiliary supply routes, alternate supply routes. And given this framework and the capabilities of my units, I can kind of develop my initial plan, course of action, and that will include sending out the scout platoon first. Each section of the scout platoons are going to go down a different route in order to do that route and zone recon. Once we get closer and can kind of identify where we think the enemy would be based off their enemy analysis, where their disposition is, they will transition to area recons if they have not made any contact with the enemy and start to really hunt and find them. Now, I have kind of cheated a little bit here where I've got, this element of Charlie Company, a mortar section, the Delta platoon that's going to accompany them, the TAC prepared going down the main MSR. Bravo Company is going to follow third in order of movement behind this main element. Alpha Company is going to go here on the left side and working on the tempo, when to release people, keeping them spaced, the good intervals between our scout elements, the decode trucks, providing lead security for these guys and the infantry companies is what I'm working to practice here. Okay. Now, how I'm going to initiate this is during the actual mission analysis, the NDMP, once I really have identified some CCIRs, PIRs, what type of intel I might need to collect to help the commander make their decisions, we generally issue one warning order 2. Hopefully I'll find a good picture to put that up here for you. And that's when the scout platoon goes. So as soon as we get receipt of mission, it's not just the commander, XO, S3, S2, S4, the people in the CP making the plan. That scout platoon leader and or the HAC commander who might be helping teach him is in there at that initial receipt of mission, warning order 1, initial mission analysis. So as soon as warning order 2 comes out, they've already done their parallel TLPs and they will get moving. Oh, there you go. Let's turn these on. Cool. So for the good practice, we've issued warning order 2. The scout platoon leader drove back out, issued the final guidance, finished their hasty TLPs, and they're off to the races. Everybody else, like the real course of action at this point, all the routes that the companies are going to take have not been conducted. Now I've kind of prepped some trucks here to get ready because I want them to be able to support the companies, and they weren't in a great position to start with. Looks like we've already, yep, that's the dust from the drive. Excellent. And those guys back on, but I don't need, there you go. Scout guys are getting ready. Bum, bum, bum. They're still doing their MDMP. That'll take a little bit. Go. Yeah, let's let them go for a bit. Up to, we want to get them going to phase line 2 pretty good here. These guys, yep. Do your good route recon. Now, there's two ways kind of to help ensure that I'm supporting them. You have to not just consider, as I'm working and studying, part of the main considerations for conducting movements to an operation, offense, defense, area security, whatever, right? The sustainment and logistics, the movement speeds, the resupply of fuel, everything, is a huge variable. Secondarily is making sure that everybody is able to be covered. While if we're very far back away from the front line of troops, we don't necessarily need to ensure we are conducting bounding, but as we're within 15 kilometers of the front, especially nowadays, right, when everybody's looking up into the air, even if some elements are traveling on the ground, that doesn't mean we're actually not bounding and they're overwatched by artillery or mortars. And that's what I kind of have planned here. As you can see, phase line 2's just about at the same distance as this mortar range. So at some point, I will need to displace this other section in order to cover their next forward movements. Then how I can do this is either sending them up after the route recon, all alone unafraid, with a couple gun trucks from Deco, or go ahead and send the other companies. All right, how are you guys doing? Excellent, looking good, looking good. So it's very cool. They've got the Humvee with the 50 cal on the scout trucks. And right now, currently, as a looking at the MTOs, the only other trucks to select are Mark 19 trucks, which is fine. Normally, back when I was a Delta Company platoon leader and commander, we had one Mark 19, 150 cal, two tow trucks, two 40s as well.
On the way.
And then my guys figured out how to mount 50 cals as on the panel next to the toes.
10 o'clock
and I was very, very happy with that. That was very cool. I love that firepower. Because it work. See how far we are. We're getting close to phase line 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and I do want to send these guys off. Which section is that? You go ahead. Yeah, one Mark 19 section, one. There you go. And one tow section. 15. Nice. I'm a big fan of those systems, the automatic grenade launchers. And then the toast. A lot of games, even with combat mission, it's very interesting because the tow trucks here are just tows. They don't even have like a rifle or a shotgun as an alternate weapon system. There's no 240s mounted on a pintle right next to it. Yeah, it's not really how we roll. Um, there's risk in that, right? Like not every target is something to shoot a tow at. All right. At this point, they're getting about halfway there. The MDMP's really transitioned or still, there's plenty that's going to be refined based off what the scouts can identify, but the main kind of general concept, the combined arms rehearsal, all the good back briefs or confirmation briefs and then back briefs have been conducted, and the battalion's probably getting ready to execute their movements. Let's jump and check out how the scouts are doing. Let me get you up there, man. Very nice. This is a good part of the map. We've got some good terrain features here to really get some good practice. I like it. Look at this North European plains. You can really see very, very far. Now, conceptually here, right, I would, for the mortars, let's see which mortars. See, you could prepare right? I can lay the guns on a specific target or TRP in preparation. Okay. Now, one thing I also would expect is that these guys wouldn't just chill here. They would seek their own cover, um, probably actually pause, come up through here in order to find the best positions of observation. Again, in previous videos, we've talked about the subordinate echelon AI requires micromanagement of that. When mortars are ready, excellent. That way they can be more responsive in reacting to contact and providing some fires for these guys if they did come into contact by the enemy. It would require micromanagement to have these sections and trucks do what I normally would expect of them. For this practice, I kind of want to do as much macro management as possible. So I'm assuming a little bit of risk here, and I want to make sure I acknowledge that so it's not a good training scar. All right. Mortars are coming up. Instead of going all the way, what I do want them to do is come over into here. As you can see, I've labeled this as checkpoint 1. This is a pre-designated spot for everybody to bound up. More in this whole general area, right? Not just the mortars there by themselves. But not just the mortars by themselves. The TAC will come up to here. Everybody will kind of bound and work through the operation. They're going here. And this way, they can technically overwatch and provide a little support by fire from here, as the scouts will then move off whenever we release them past phase line 2. Get them in here. All right, cool. They're in. Wait a minute. That's grenade section. What's going on here? No! Whoops. Look what I did. Shucks. Yeah, I sent a whole deco platoon up here. Yeah, not and then I confused the grenade launcher icon with the mortar icon. That's great. All right, so I'll get them into another good Overwatch position, and we will try and catch back up. Goodness gracious. Hey man, what'd you do? Get lost? Yeah, go ahead, go. CP1. Everybody's getting set. We're going to prep the battalion attack. Yeah, now I had to use the 113s because the normal medium and heavy mortars in the game are not trailer based, right? They're dismounted, and that's not quite how it is. They're still able to move from Humvees, the armament carrier trucks, on a trailer, get dropped off, and there we go. We've got the good mortars on. Let's get them prepped onto a position. All right, so now the conditions are set to release the scout platoon forward to continue their route and zone recon, and we have reached the conditions on the execution checklist to release Alpha and Charlie Company with their deco attachments. The TAC will follow in the good formation order of movement, but I will save that for the next video. All right, thank you for joining me. See you.